Hey Kevin, Property Soldier here. I am really excited. I have got an announcement that it was absolutely fantastic for me to get this news, and that is my publisher has given me the launch date of my book, Serviced Accommodation Success. So for those of you that don't know, it was supposed to get launched in March, but the lockdown happened and different reasons, but ultimately the publisher wanted to hold on launching the book. But we are now good to go. So the 19th of July, my book, Serviced Accommodation Success, is going to be hitting the streets. And so that is the book. And so stay tuned, and I will let you know exactly how you get a copy. And so it's going to become available initially on Amazon for you to be able to secure your copy of the book. Now, I was 24 years in the army, and I actually tried to get into the SAS twice, the Special Air Service. And as you can see there, the logo is a little bit like the SAS logo, Who Dares Wins. And you know what? I had 2 goes of getting into the SAS, but I didn't get in. You're only allowed 2 goes, and then they said, look, Paneskis, you're not getting in. Sod off, you know. But do you know what? It's better to try and fail than fail to try. Hopefully you'll agree with that one. I'm sure you will. But, you know, I always strive for the best. And after leaving the army, I became a full-time property investor, and the reason why I do serviced accommodation is because, as far as I'm concerned, it is the best of the best. It is the SAS of property investing, and so serviced accommodation success is the same acronym, isn't it? SAS. And so I've been really motivated to write this book, and I'm really excited to finally be able to share it and share my knowledge of serviced accommodation, because excuse me, the other serviced accommodation books that I've read, I've been disappointed with. You'll have heard of the phrase, you don't know what you don't know. Well, ultimately I know what has been missing from the serviced accommodation books that I've read, but people who are new to serviced accommodation won't actually know, and a lot of them might be getting into serviced accommodation and be missing an awful lot of valuable information that they should have in their locker. And so I've sought to rectify that, and I'm pretty confident that when you read the book, and it will bear up under scrutiny, and when people give reviews on the book, that I'm confident that it will get good reviews, even from people who are experienced in serviced accommodation. But you know, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, as they say, so hopefully you will agree with that. So the book itself, it covers my model, my plug and play model in how to do serviced accommodation. So my model is the deals model, and so DEALS, SA deals. The D stands for due diligence, the E for explore, the A for acquisition, the L for logistics, and the S for scrutinise. Now, what I've noticed is an awful lot of people in property, they jump straight into acquisition and they haven't done any due diligence and they haven't done any exploration before spending a significant amount of money, and that's obviously a problem. So the D and the E, the due diligence and the exploration, that teaches you how to evaluate the deal, assess the demand for serviced accommodation, the right property for serviced accommodation in your area, getting quotes on everything, so understanding the obviously the rent or and the mortgage, but the bills as well, but getting your laundry quotes and getting your cleaning quotes, and getting all these things in place so that you reverse engineer everything based on the likely turnover for the property to decide if there is a deal, if it is an SA deal. So you've got the D and the E before you get to the A, which is then acquisition. So I cover all of the different acquisition strategies in serviced accommodation. So rent to SA direct to a landlord, or rent to SA to a letting agent, I cover that. I talk about buy-to-let conversion into serviced accommodation. So those of you that have got buy-to-lets, you can be turning those into serviced accommodation and earning 5 times the cash flow that you currently get. Okay, so if you're interested in that, then you should definitely want to read. I'll talk about doing serviced accommodation management, so managing properties on behalf of landlords, managing them as serviced accommodation, so slightly different variation on rent to SA. I talk about buy, refurbish, refinance into serviced accommodation, so literally purchasing property, doing a refurb, turning that into serviced accommodation, and then refinancing the property to be pulling your money out. And a really exciting strategy as well right now is guest house B&B conversion into serviced accommodation. That is something that I'm really excited about, and we are currently doing a refurb on one of those as we speak. And so all of the different acquisition strategies covered in serviced accommodation, and then you get into the ongoing management of your serviced accommodation business, and so that's where we cover that in the logistics. And then the scrutinise is maximising your profits and driving down costs and increasing your profits moving forward. So the end-to-end process covered in serviced accommodation with my SA deals model. So also covered in the book is, I was blown away by a lot of the testimonials that I've had from people. So don't just take my word for it. There's lots of people in the book that have been trained by me in serviced accommodation, and it's a massive privilege for me to help people sack the boss, to help people to create life-changing recurring income from property. And you will see examples of people implementing my system, and they're able to sack the boss within 6 months of implementing my SA deals model. So that's really, really cool. So again, my launch date is the 19th of July. The book is called Serviced Accommodation Success. And as many of you who have seen my videos know, I love to end my videos with here's to your success in serviced accommodation, and this book will definitely help in that. And remember, your future needs you.